plane crashes with my most realistic ever Lego build, but this time we are going exactly where the disasters happen. I have never traveled this much for a video, but this experience turned out much more emotional and chilling than I ever expected. Oh, wait, this can't be a piece of the plane. Imagine the largest airliner of the 80s disintegrating over towns in the UK. What's most unsettling to me about going to Lockerbie is that this was the biggest crime scene in the world. Due to a change in wind patterns, Pan Am Flight 103 flew further over Scotland, leaving a trail of evidence that was meant to vanish into the Atlantic. And we're not just recreating crashes in the UK, because how did I travel all over Europe with a meter-long Concorde and this even bigger Soviet passenger beast? Oh, but these weigh nothing compared to this mighty structure of a larger 747 I'm designing. I've remastered this so many times before, so is it possible to perfect this sharp-angled wing design? Well, I'm surprised I might have enough parts to create my longest, most substantial 747 fuselage. Oh yes, this is not just a rebuild of my Tenerife Pan Am, but a cooler step up in scale. Geez, I can already see how guilty I'll feel destroying this beauty, and remember, I'm going to recreate a violent mid-air breakup, so we need to deck out the Clipper with dense galleys, extreme seating capacity, and even toilet units, all to come down in the real Lockerbie, like the real crash, which is pretty crazy to think about, because all these details like the realistic engines and even an upper deck aim to add to the accuracy and truth of one of my most daunting recreations, all adding to our respect towards the victims of the infamous Clipper Maid of the Seas, and those who were never even meant by the bomb makers to be part of this tragedy, the 11 lives taken in Lockerbie, which is where we're heading now. Straight north of the British Isles, all because of a chain of evil that caused the biggest UK plane crash. Now nothing could stop the detonation as Flight 103 pulls its 239 occupants and its bomb out of the void of the longest winter night, December 21st, as it climbed to enter cruise altitude at Pole Hill VOR, located just east of Burnley, where the captain reduced thrust for the flight to New York just 8 minutes before disintegration. For an enhanced viewing experience, I'll reconstruct the accident sequence in daylight for you, as the Lockerbie road signs indicate the journey's almost over for both me and the Clipper. The beauty of this landscape is about to deteriorate. We entered the town seeing typical housing estates that almost felt surreal, entirely because of the history held where I'm stood. But the destruction was most nightmarish at Sherwood Crescent. It feels most unreal visiting where this world-famous horror scene was engraved into history. Today, it's a calm memorial garden, a contrasting shadow of what my greatest Lego 747 is about to endure. Tucked in the side of the forward fuselage and the side of the container is the radio filled with a mere 400 grams of explosives, but the cargo hold magnifies the blast. Cabin power in the CBR instantly causes the shockwaves destroy the forward airframe. Clouds of debris impact the fan blades and 3 seconds have passed when the front breaks off and deflects to the right, striking engine 3 and detaching it from its pylon. The sickening loss of pressure and hurricane force winds make many victims unconscious and disintegrate the unstable structures. Within 5 seconds, the violent left roll intensifies and becomes a vertical dive at a still dizzying 19,000 feet. Fluttering of the rudder splits the stabilizer, causing heavy yaws left to right, which separates all remaining engines. These forces induced by the yaws separate the back of the plane, and the air becomes breathable at 9,000 feet when 60 feet of fuselage splits off, leaving the full wings and 40 feet of passenger aisles to impact the place where we stood, the largest crash site in the UK, which I will try to perfectly recreate. The flight crew fall in and out of consciousness as the nose descends miles away onto Tundergarth Hill, the most famous part of the Maid's wreckage. It lay visible from the church and a farm from where an ex-midwife comes to find a flight attendant with a weak pulse. Then unfortunately came the most powerful impact in Lockerbie, covering the whole of Sherwood Crescent. So we can't be 6 unbearable seconds, the 747 fuselage completely disintegrated with 3 holes. Carrying all the fuel needed to reach New York, the fuel tanks ignited fireballs, reaching terrible heights and engulfing all surrounding homes, burning their roofs to ashes. Sherwood Crescent was now an uninhabitable environment, and another ground fatalities at Sherwood was the bombing about to take many more. Here I've recreated the 4 Rosebank homes, giving this corner one a full interior, which the raining debris is about to expose. The wreckage here is extreme, but the residents of this home 88, this remains the worst UK terror attack. Recreating crashes where they happened is a lot more complicated if I fly to another country. The USSR, they just created the world's largest airliner, calling it the Ilyushin IL-62, but lots Polish airlines pilots would soon call them flying